Coach, I just want to ask you about Vinny. He's coming up on 1 month in the NHL here. I just want to ask you about, as obviously as a coach that's seen him at the minor league level, just the progression that you've seen from him over the first month of his career so far.
Yeah, I saw Big Vin first at a development camp, and then as he came out of college hockey, he signed an American League deal in Bakersfield, and kind of seen him hit some progression steps along the way. I see someone who's real comfortable with his own game. He knows what he is, and he's adding to an area that we felt we could get better at, which is down low defensive coverage, net play, being hard in those kind of battle areas. And he's a good penalty killer, and he's been a big addition to our group.
Is a game like last night's just one of those ones where he really thrives with the physicality, and you can really see the impact that he had in that regard?
Yeah, he's a big body. When people try and get to the net, he gets a piece of them. If there's any shenanigans after whistles or whatnot, he's more than willing to stand in there and stick up for not only himself but his teammates. And he's somebody that, as I said, he's added a dimension to our team in terms of his size and his down low defending, and the results speak for themselves with him in the lineup.
For Ryan McLeod, what are you kind of seeing from him in this last little stretch here where he's been able to, kind of improve his offensive output there?
Yeah, I think post-Christmas he started to shoot the puck a little bit more. Post-Christmas it's going in the net a little bit more. He's willing to get his nose dirty to find offensive success, and that's what we need out of him. I thought he skated really well. Coming out of a break, a lot of people don't know this, but I think he actually started skating on his own just to make sure that he was going to be ready for this second half of the year. And I know that he took a little time away, but when he came back, he was interested in making sure that he was going to be ready to practice when we practiced as a team on the Sunday. He had a really good practice Sunday, Monday, and I thought he carried his practices into his game.
Just quickly back onto Desharnais. You mentioned the nickname, the Seaweed Man.
Yeah.
Were you the originator of that nickname, or where did that come from?
Oh, you know what? I wouldn't take credit for that. I would say that in the coach's room, that used to be what we would talk about all the time, was that trying to get to the net was like swimming through seaweed or swimming through kelp. With the implication being that some piece is going to touch you as you're trying to get to that area. And, I think it just kind of stuck around the coach's room, and he was aware of it, and certainly we brought it with him when he came up to the NHL.
I want to ask you about Stuart Skinner. How much has he surprised you in terms of being able to take on a workload and become a number one type goaltender?
Yeah, well, similar to Desharnais and a lot of the players on our team, I had the benefit of seeing Stuart as a younger player and hit some developmental steps along the way. I would say this: it wasn't always easy. There was some heavy lifting, but I see a kid who is mature beyond his years. He's very focused and serious about his craft. I saw someone, a year and a half ago during the pandemic year, lead the American Hockey League in wins. I saw him win 2 playoff series and win our last game of the year that year. And he's just kind of taken off from there. I would also say this: not a lot of people up here know this, but there was a point last year where Dave and I were in the American League. It was around Christmas time, and Stuart was with the NHL club, and he got reassigned to Bakersfield, and he had some issues with his flights. But we were in a tough spot. We really needed a goaltender. He sprinted to the rink and dressed 5 minutes before warm-up and showed, his organization what he was all about, which is that he was there to win games. He won the game. He played great. But more than anything, he showed me something. He showed his teammates something in how serious he is about winning games for the Edmonton Oilers organization. I thought it was a great example of who he is as a person.
What's allowed him to take that from the AHL to the NHL and be able to do the same thing at a higher level?
Yeah, I think it's not all brand new. He had some games last year. His last game in the NHL last year, he had a shutout, and then we reassigned him. Yeah, no, but it was the right right thing for his development, and we had a couple top NHL goalies that were performing well at the time. But he had played a couple games the year before, so he's gotten his feet wet along the way. And as he was doing that, he just kept getting better and better. He is also a goaltender that is blessed with a natural skill set. So when you combine his natural skill set, size, athletic ability with his internal drive to be the best, I think it makes for a really promising goaltending prospect for us. And as he's working his way through his first year, the results he's gotten is no accident, I can tell you that.
You mentioned it wasn't always easy for him. We were just talking to Vinny, and he said there was a time when him and Stu were in the ECHL.
Yep.
They had just lost like an 8-goal game, and they were thinking, is this it for us? Are we done? What does it say about the resilience that both Vinny and Stuart are now playing at this level?
I think it speaks to who they are as people. It's a credit to the work that they put in. It's a credit to a lot of the people that have helped them get there, both in their family, their coaches along the way, that help, keep them going. I know exactly when they're talking about, for both those guys to work their way up to the American League level and find a way to be real productive players at the American League level and show that they were ready for their recall to the NHL, and then to make good on that recall or their opportunity in the NHL. That's a credit to both of them, because it's a lot of hard work along the way.